Imagine you are walking through a garage sale and you see a literal pile of gold bars sitting next to a rusty lawnmower. The owner is a guy named Barnaby, who thinks gold is just heavy yellow paperweight material. He tells you that there is exactly $1,000 worth of gold in that pile. Then he looks you dead in the eye and says he will sell you the whole pile for $500. You do not ask questions. You do not pass go. You sell your shoes if you have to just to get that $500 because you are buying a dollar for 50 cents. This is the entire soul of the price-to-book ratio. It is the financial version of checking the pockets of a jacket you bought at a thrift store and finding a crisp $20 bill inside. To understand this, we first need to know what a book value is. Imagine a massive lemonade stand empire run by a hyper-organized child named Timmy. Timmy has 3 high-tech blenders, he has a wooden stand, he has a giant bag of lemons, and a secret stash of sugar. If Timmy decided to quit the lemonade game forever and sell every single thing he owned to the highest bidder, that total amount of cash is the book value. It is the value of the physical stuff. If Timmy has $100 worth of blenders and wood, and he owes the neighbor $5 for a borrowed pitcher, his book value is $95. It is what is left on the table if the business vanished tomorrow and turned into a pile of cash. Now, the price part of the ratio is what the rest of the world thinks Timmy is worth. If the neighborhood kids think Timmy is a genius and they want to buy his business, they might offer him $200 for it. In this case, the price is $200, but the book value is only $95. That means the price-to-book ratio is roughly 2. You are paying $2 for every $1 of actual stuff Timmy owns. Why would you do that? Maybe you think Timmy has a secret recipe that makes people see through walls. You are paying for the magic and the future potential, not just the wooden boards and the lemons. But sometimes the stock market gets a massive headache or falls into a deep, dark pit of despair. This is where the magic happens. Imagine a giant shipping company that owns 50 massive cargo ships. Each ship is worth $10 million. That is $500 million in giant metal boats. But let us say the stock market panics because they heard a rumor that teleportation is being invented by a wizard. Suddenly, everyone sells their shares of the shipping company. The price of the whole company drops to $250 million. You look at the math, and you realize the company is selling for half of what its boats are worth. You are essentially buying a fleet of ships for 50% off. The price-to-book ratio here is 0.5. You are buying a dollar for 50 cents. If you bought the whole company and sold the ships for scrap metal, you would double your money instantly. This is what investors call a value play. It is like finding a house for sale for $50,000, even though there is $60,000 in cash taped to the walls inside. Of course, there is a catch because there is always a catch. Sometimes a company has a low price-to-book ratio because its assets are actually garbage. Imagine a company that owns $1 billion worth of fidget spinners in a warehouse. On paper, the book value is huge, but in reality, nobody wants a fidget spinner in the year 2025. The book value says they are worth $1 billion, but the market price says they are worth 10 cents. In this case, the market is right and the book is a liar. The book value is only useful if the stuff the company owns is actually worth something to someone else. You also have to be careful with tech companies. Think about a company like a giant social media app. What do they actually own? A few servers and some fancy espresso machines in the break room. Their book value is tiny, but their price is astronomical because they have billions of users and secret algorithms. If you only looked at the price-to-book ratio for a software company, you would think it is the worst deal in history. You would be trying to value a wizard based on the price of his wooden staff instead of his ability to turn lead into gold. Price-to-book is the ultimate tool for the skeptical shopper. It is for the person who ignores the flashy neon signs and goes straight to the basement to see if the foundation is made of solid brick or soggy cardboard. It tells you if you are paying for the hype or if you are paying for the hard assets. When the ratio is under 1, you are technically getting the company assets at a discount. You are the person at the auction buying a treasure chest for less than the cost of the wood used to build the chest. Just remember that if you find a Ferrari for $500, you should check if it actually has an engine before you get too excited. A low price-to-book ratio can be a gold mine, or it can be a dumpster fire with a very expensive price tag. Look for the companies that have real stuff like factories and land and machines, but are being ignored by the cool kids at the stock market party. If you find a company with a price-to-book of 0.5 and their assets are not literal piles of rotting fruit, you might have just found the financial equivalent of a unicorn hiding in a donkey pasture. Go get your 50-cent dollars and try not to trip over your own genius on the way to the bank.